What it is, good people, it's your man BlastOffBe. This is the NUFD Not Up for Debate podcast with me, BlastOffBe, and Mig 7.2. Unfortunately, as you can see, Migs isn't here today. Apparently, he's come down with something. Let's hope it's not worse than what he sounds like, because he was coughing all crazy when he was talking to me earlier. Yeah, it was sounding real bad, but I'm sure he's going to get better. We wish you the best. We're praying for you. Make sure everything is cool, because you need to be here for the next episode. So, with all that being said, I am your gracious and humble host. Without Mig 7.2, I am BlastOffBe. Today, we have a guest that I'm happy to have on. I can't say enough good things about this young lady. Well accomplished in many different areas, but today our topic is women in business, and I wanted to invite you on because I recognize your grind. I've seen what you've been doing over the last decade plus at this point. So I want to welcome you to the show. This is, and I'll introduce you to the people, but then I'll let you go over your resume and all of that. This is Miss Oshunbumi Fernandez-West, and I almost missed that West part, and I don't want to miss that because I know
don't want to miss that.
Don't want to miss that. I do not want no disrespect to anybody. I've known you as Oshunbumi Fernandez for all of my life until recently since I'm married. So let me introduce to you guys Oshunbumi Fernandez-West. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope that your co-host feels better, Miz. Never met you, but Miz, I hope you feel better. My name is Oshunbumi Fernandez-West. Everyone calls me Boomy, so that's what Brian is me as Boomy. So it's probably what referred to me as we continue this interview. It's Boomy, which is okay. I am the CEO of Odunde. Odunde is the largest African-American street festival in North America. My mother created Odunde in 1975. I was a year old. I was strapped to my mother's back at the first Odunde. And now we're celebrating, I think, almost going on 47 years of Odunde, and so due to the pandemic, we haven't had Odunde in the past 2 years, but that was okay. To be honest with you, I needed a break. Odunde takes a lot. I mean, I know everyone think, my mother would say, you make it look, you're the best at what you do, you make it look easy. Mm-hmm. And so, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I love what I do. I love keeping my mother's legacy alive, and I'm just happy to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm definitely glad and happy that you're here.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. So what you just did when you kind of segued into everything that we're going to talk about today, so I appreciate that. You're doing my job for me, so you're making my life a whole lot easier.
Yes.
But the first thing I do want to jump into is you taking over the mantle or the baton being passed to you from your mother. So can we start there? Like, how did that come about? Was it something that you expected to do? Was it something that was like predestined? Was it your mom said, hey, when I get this age and when I'm done, this is what's going to happen? So how did that come about?
So I was my mother's shadow. I was her shadow. My mother was my everything. And everywhere she went, I went. And so one thing I do want to say that my mother never forced me. She never said, Boom, you have to take on my legacy. My mom said, Boom, you can do what you want to do. When God put you on this earth, He did not tell you that you had to continue Lois Fernandez's legacy. He gave you your own divine road to fulfill His destiny. So that's what I'm doing. And I was around my mother all the time. I was just telling your cousin Susan that me and my mom, I was my mother's shadow. So everywhere she went, I went. So me learning how to run Odunde, operate Odunde, because Odunde, you have to feel like we're more than just a festival, right? And there's so many different facets to Odunde. There's the public side, the political side. You gotta meet with the politicians. You gotta meet with the mayor. You gotta meet with this person. You gotta meet with the vendors, the business owners. So there's so many different facets to Odunde that people don't see, because people just come out to the festival, they come and enjoy themselves, and they don't know all what goes on behind the scene. And so my mother taught me all of that, and it was just so innate in her. You understand that? So it wasn't like, okay, boom, today you're gonna learn this, boom, today you're gonna learn that. It was not that, like, boom, come along, gotta meet with the mayor, boom, come along, gotta meet with the governor, boom, come along, gotta meet with the congressman. And it was just, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna learn. And so it was just that type of learning environment that's natural. You understand? So it's very natural to me. So me taking over Odunde, my mother had primed me all my life. So when my mother got sick when I was about 22, 23, I was running Odunde, but my mother was still the face. I mean, until my mother died, my mother told me that until she died, she like, well, even when I died, they would say, Lois still running Odunde. Right. Because people are so like, Lois Fernandez do that. You understand where I'm coming from? So even my mother's dead, people still like, oh, you sure? Like, sis. mother's dead and the cat's in the ground. What are you talking about? That's what I really want to say, but you got to be professional and be at all times. Sometimes you got to be South Philly.
Let's say most times. Most times
Sometimes you got to be South Philly.
Absolutely.
You got to be professional, right? And so my mother prepared me for so much. It's just, I can't really explain because my mom prepared me for everything in life.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So me taking over Odunde was a natural to me. It's like breathing.
Right. So you were ready to do it at the time when it came about. Like it was a natural step.
Showtime, I was ready. So
Right.
it wasn't like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like I don't know how to do the vendors. I don't know how to do entertainment. I don't know how to get the staff. I don't know how to. No, I know how to do everything.
Because like you said, it's like breathing.
Yes.
Right? It's like
my mother taught me like, you have to know how to run every aspect of Odunde. From maintenance to vendors to entertainment to getting the waters, everything. So I know how to run every aspect. I never want to be in the F position. I don't want to curse, but I never want to be in the F position.
You can, it's okay.
Okay.
If you choose to. I mean, that's your brain. If you don't want to curse, your brain.
Yeah.
But this brain is okay. That's how you get.
So you don't want to be in the fuck position, right? You have to know how to run everything. So people always say, oh, Boomy, I can't help you to this year. Okay, and what? I can do the vending, I can do the graphic design, I can do anything. You know what I mean? I have a very small nucleus team who rock with me, and I rock with them. And a lot of people are caught up in the whole power thing, like, I hate when people say, oh, that's bullshit, doing. I hate when people do that, or I'm entering like, I don't like that. I like to be low key because my brother-in-law always say, the will that does not come up from the air does not get harpooned, right? So a lot of people like to come up for the air, like everybody to see him and show them and all that kind of stuff.
I like that. I'm gonna steal that. We're gonna have to run that back. You said it real quick. Say that again.
The will that does not come up for air does not get harpooned.
The whale that does not come up for air does not get harpooned. I need to learn that because I'm a Leo and I like to be in front of a lot of things. So I don't care if I'm running it. I just like to be seen sometimes because that's just me. I'm peacocking sometimes. But I need to learn to be the whale that doesn't come up because I'm tired of getting harpooned. I'm tired of it. I'm setting myself up for failure is what it is.
Yes, and so that's what I like to lay low. And I know what I do, you have to be in the spotlight. You have to be doing news, media. You have to. It comes with it. But like a lot of them, I like to lay low. You understand? Because I don't walk in the room unless like, oh, you know who I am, right? This is what I do, right? Like, that's not me.
I mean, I know.
Yeah, but I like to be low because see, most people want to show you who they are. And that's why I love it. That's why I like to be low key. Because what people do, they'll walk right past you, they don't care. And then it's all like, oh, that's boom, she's in charge. They'll be like, oh, yeah, the one who walk past, the one who get attitude with. Hold on to that, sis. Remember, you was nasty because high is free. Right? Saying high is free, being nice is free, being kind is free. So many people want to walk in with an attitude and nasty. I don't forget nothing. I'm like an elephant. I forget nothing. You understand?
I'm glad I've always been kind. I've always been nice. I've always been nice here. I feel like I've been kind. I realize there's a difference between nice and kind, but I think I've been both.
And I think that's just my innate nature. I like to be kind. I like to be nice. I'm like, oh hey, listen, how can I help you? Kind of support. And sometimes it can backfire on you because what I've learned in this lifetime, being on this earth for 47 years, is that sometimes it's not reciprocated. Right? Yeah. I'm always looking out for people. I'm always looking at people. I'll call mayor. Oh, you got a problem? I call so-and-so. You got a problem? I call so-and-so. And then like, oh, can you give me somebody for my program? It's like, I'm solid. Like, okay, so I help you, but I don't keep record. You know what I mean? I don't keep score. You understand? So it is what it is. You're not tallying. It is what it is. Because one thing I know about God is always going to take care of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Odunde is the longest running African American street festival in America.
Hold on. You're going too far. You way at.
Already?
You died. You in the deep end already. We're supposed to be shallow right now. We ain't get there yet. We ain't swim out yet.
So just to answer your question,
Thank you.
Taking on my mother's legacy, it was innate in me. It was natural. It was God's will.
Next step.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't like, oh my God. My mom wasn't like she pushed me. I was like, oh, Showtime was like, oh mom, you sick? I got you. Don't worry about that. Odunde's gonna go on without. Odunde went on without hesitation. People didn't even know that my mom. There was a changing of the time.
Exactly. I feel you. Let me say this. So for y'all who don't know about Odunde, so there were a few things going through how long has it been?
47 years.
So I ain't been around for 47. I can say from the 90s through now. I can talk about that. Yes. So there was a few things that you had to go to in the city of Philadelphia. There was only a few. I mean, we had our thing. So there was the 90s had the Greek picnic. You got more recently in the 2000s, you had Roots Picnic. You had Powerhouse. You had Powerhouse that you had to go to.
Black Family Reunion. You had Unity Day. Sunday. You had all these different festivals. Super Sunday was African American based, but you had Unity Day, Black Family Reunion. You had a lot of festivals that were going on. You had the jazz festival out there, I believe it was Westfield Plain, and that big festival.
The one on, there was one.
We the only one left.
But with all that being said, these are the things that we had to go to. Like you had to. Like you weren't anybody if you didn't go. Like what? You didn't go? You didn't go to the Greek? You didn't go to Powerhouse? You didn't. Odunde was that other event that you had to go to. And let me tell you this. So my first Odunde, like the first one that I went to, right? I was not prepared for what it was I was going to encounter, right? So I was like, all right, Odunde, yeah, cool. And because I know their family, So, and let me tell you this, humble with with knowing that this is what y'all do, you know what I mean? It was just like, no one ever was like, oh, you need to come, there was no promotion. It was just like, Odunde is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So my first Odunde, I went with a group of friends, one of my cousin and a couple other people. So, and I had been to all of the other events that I mentioned. I had been to Powerhouse, I'd been to Greek, and this was something different. It felt like this is for me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, it felt like this is where you're supposed to be. You're getting an experience that you may not be used to coming from the inner city had you not had this experience growing up, right? So there was food that was offered that I wasn't typically exposed to. There were drinks that were offered that I wasn't typically exposed to. And let me tell you, the reason why I went was really because of my initial thought was, who's going to be the talent? Right, I believe it was like Big Daddy Kane was there that year and some other people, but for me it was just like, all right, we're gonna go. It's the place to be. Number one, if you're gonna be somebody in this city, you gotta go here. Like you have to go there. You cannot say I didn't go to Odunde.
Yes.
So that was one thing, but then the headliner and the talent was going to be another thing. But for me, being able to experience that. It was like a new experience, but like the food was new. Now mind you, regular food was there. Like it wasn't like you didn't have, regular vendors there, but having the black, the African, all of these vendors that you have that provide service and food and drinks and things like that. Like let me be honest, like I had never had hibiscus anything. Ever.
Okay.
Didn't even know what hibiscus was.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, let me try the hibiscus lemonade. Let me try that. And then, so that's what opened my mind to try something
new,
right? So
stepping outside of your norm.
Absolutely, and I've never been afraid to try things.
Good.
So I'm always willing to do that. But so how does this is leading into the question? Now we're swimming a little bit further out. We're swimming a little bit further out, getting out of that shallow end. So how do you feel like how Odunde has impacted the city of Philadelphia, not only being the longest standing black festival, but just being a festival that was put up there with the need to go to events in this city? Because the other festival, no disrespect to the other festivals that you mentioned, they were never on the list. They weren't on the list of you have to go here. They weren't there. It was only these 5 things that you go to in the city, and your festival was up there with one of them. So how do you feel about, or what do you believe the impact of that is on the city of Philadelphia? Outside of the numbers, we're going to go over the numbers in a little bit, but outside of the numbers.
I think that Odunde changed the trajectory of cultural festivals in Philadelphia. I believe that it was a trailblazer in regards to cultural festivals in the country. Nobody was doing a cultural street festival, because they came to Odunde or experienced Odunde.
In the country, so we're going
people branched out.
People
branched out and that started doing festivals in different parts of the state, and it started, you know what I mean? So I believe that my mother was a trailblazer. She always has been, and so I think that is the thing that comes into play in regards to when my mother created Odunde. She just had an idea. Right, she went to Africa in 1972. She saw the Oshunbumi Festival and decided to bring that idea back to Philadelphia. And she shared it with her friend Ruth Arthur, and she never thought that it would grow to this magnitude.
So before you go into bring it back a little bit. So the Oshunbumi Festival.
Yes.
Can you speak about that?
I know it's a festival that happens in Nigeria, the country of Nigeria, that's in the continent of Africa. It's an annual festival. My mom attended that festival in 1972. And she just brought the concept, the idea, she loved it so much. She said, let me bring that back to Philadelphia. And so when she came back to Philadelphia, Odunde was just one block, right? And so
now when I went, it was all of the blocks of South Philly.
South Philly, right?
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
I want people to know that when you come to Odunde, I want you to know that this is what happens when you believe in yourself, right? So many people, they try something that doesn't work, they quit. right? My mother never quit.
Consistency.
Even though when people told her that, oh no, it's not going to be, you're not going to give money, the white people are not going to let you walk down and pay homage to God and have a procession and give food and stuff in the river. They want to stop them and everything. My mother always believed in herself. She said, this is what God wants me to do. I'm going to continue that. So every time I come to Odunde, I know that it's much bigger than me. It's much bigger than my mom. I understand that. I'm clear on that. Even I realized that when I was younger, I was really caught up with, people say, Bumi, a lot like, you look like you're going to Odunde. Like, you shouldn't dress like that. You shouldn't wear your hair like that. I can do what the fuck I want to do. I can wear my hair. If you don't like it, I want you to say it to my face. That's how I am. Right? I know I give a very calm.
They said you need to have rap and
and I realized when I was younger that no matter what I did, I could wear African clothes every day. People are still going to say something. I can wear my hair in natural hairstyle. People are still going to say something. So no matter what I did, no matter which way I moved, people always said something. And I never forget. I came home one day and I was like, oh mom, I was at this event and so I shouldn't have on those skinny jeans and heels if I run Odunde. My mother looked at me. And she looked at me, she said, Boom. I said, yo, she said, fuck that fat ass.
I'm assuming the person was fat.
She said, okay. And she said, well, no matter what way you move with Odunde, people are always going to say something, so you got to be secure with who you are. And that changed the trajectory. I don't care. I don't care. You have to, I don't like women, don't come to Odunde. I don't like big crowds, don't come to Odunde. I don't like heat, don't come to Odunde. Like, it does not matter to me.
I don't like heat, don't come to Odunde.
You know what I mean? Because I know I work in a good space. I know that my spirit is good. I know I will have good character as a person. And so I realized that when you do Odunde, people always want to put you in a box. You understand? So with Odunde, people try to put me in a box. Like, you don't know how many times, I'm 47 years old, how many people say to me, oh, you don't know why you want to do that? Oh, okay, well, sis, I do.
And what?
And you want to go to TD Bank and cash that check, right? Well, you need my signature. So how you want to get it? How you want to do it? You understand where I'm coming from? So I get it all the time. Even to this day, I get it all the time. My board members, they're like, oh, Boomie, what? You know what I mean? So I just think that you really have to know who you are, and that comes with time. It does. I didn't have to. Thank God I had a strong mother who didn't take shit from nobody, and she just, my foundation is so strong that even when my mother passed away, I'm still good to go.
Right.
You understand? So I think that it's very key that you have to know who you are. You have to be secure in who you are, because if you're not, people will dictate who you are. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. They will. You know what I mean? They'll have me wearing something or dressing some kind of way that's not me.
That
you know what I mean?
true.
I'm not going to look no hot mess.
Don't.
You understand where I'm coming from? My mom passed away.
No.
I think, no. And I think that when my mom passed away, people couldn't say anything. They were just like, well, Lois died, and Odunde is still kicking, and we got Odunde 365. You understand what I'm talking about? Like, we didn't miss a beat. It was still growing.
It's actually growing.
You understand? So I think that I always want people to know a couple things about Odunde is that one, you have to know who you are. You have to believe in yourself. My circle was small. Right? My nucleus is not big. I have a very small nucleus that I rock with. That's why a lot of people know me, but a lot of people can't get to me. And I learned that through.
I'm glad I was able to get to her because she's here.
No, but I learned that through my brother, Mr. Kenny Gamble. You know what I mean? Like, and he didn't say anything, but I watched how he moves. You understand? Like, everybody knows Mr. Kenny Gamble, but can get to him.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from? And so I just watch how he moves and watch how he operates, and just Mr. Kenny Gamble, he'll treat anybody. I mean, whether one time I was with him, the homeless man up the street came to him. He treated him like he was the mayor, the president, or the governor, you know what I mean? But everybody doesn't have access to him. And so that's the difference you have to learn how to do. And I've learned that as I got older, because I used to be friends with everybody. Hey, everybody, like, you can't share your energy with everyone.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
You gotta learn how to bring it in, you gotta learn how to cultivate it, you have to learn how to restore, especially as a woman.
I was about to
as a
say,
woman, we give a lot.
I think, and you mentioned Mr. Kenny Gamble. I will say that I believe that is something that was taught to him most likely by a woman, because we as men don't typically have that built into us innately. Like, it's something that we have to learn. And I mean, we can go into maybe why that may be, like, and pontificate about the reasons that, it could be that we don't mind sharing our energy with just kind of anybody, and then having to learn not to do that. But I'm glad that you were able to get that from someone who you consider a mentor. And I know for women,
and like I said, it was nothing he said to me, nothing he taught me. I just watched how Mr. Gamble moved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But most thing about Mr. Gamble, he makes everybody feel like they're important. And
Right.
that's a gift that a lot of people don't have.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He
I
makes
agree.
like I said, I was walking one time and a homeless man walked up to him. He did not shun him, he didn't do anything. He said, okay, to me, he's like, I loved your music. And Miss Gamble treated him just like if he was Barry Gordy. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And so that's a gift. That's something that you have to learn how to do and how to be. You understand where I'm coming from? Like with Odunde, I can never have a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from? Like if I go out,
You're a public figure. That's
yeah, so you
you're a
have to
public
be
figure.
able to, and
That's
some
how-
days I'm tired, some days I don't feel like being bothered, but you have to be respectful and you have to learn how to just navigate. That's the key thing. That's what my mother taught me that. My mother, I don't think my mother never knew the magnitude of Odunde. She knew it was big. She knew that its cultural impact has affected generations. I mean, at the last Odunde, I met a family that had 5 generations who experienced Odunde.
That's amazing. 5?
5 generations.
That's crazy.
That's
So what
crazy.
was the youngest? Just
I mean, it's like,
I
that's
have
how
a
it was
question.
for. It was like, it was like the great grandmother, the grandmother,
okay.
the daughter, her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was all at Odunde. And so when
That's
you see
amazing.
that type of impact that you had,
Were they black?
they were black. Yes, they
Okay,
were.
I just wanted to ask.
Yes.
There's others there too.
Yes, yeah, and so it was just to see that impact was just unbelievable to me. You know what I mean? So Odunde, like I said, what keeps me grounded is that I know Odunde is God's will, and that's what I know. I'll keep repeating that throughout this podcast.
Well, okay.
But if you understand what I'm doing, the magnitude of what I'm saying to you, you understand why I stay focused.
Some people don't know. Some people don't understand God's will. So it's okay to keep repeating it because hearing it and knowing how far it's gone, and not only under your mother but then now under you, it's okay. Let's keep saying that.
Yes.
So what I do want to ask is, you touched on something and about people taking the festival, its imprint or its blueprint, and taking it outside of the city of Philadelphia. So there are numerous festivals now throughout this country. You have Governor's Ball. You have, I'll say, Roots Picnic is a festival. I'll say you have even Made in America. So all of these are festivals, not specifically
Cultural festivals,
so.
but they are large events.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that I'm not.
I was going to ask if you think that they stole, or not. I shouldn't say stole, but did they take some of the blueprint from?
No, what I want to say, there are a lot of cultural street festivals. I can't name all of them, but there are a lot of cultural street festivals in cities throughout the United States that have seen, people have come, have seen Odunde and said, oh, I can bring some type of idea back to my city. You understand?
Okay.
I don't know the names of them, but
Right.
Odunde is the cultural trailblazer for cultural street festivals.
So and as a rapper, I would say these are my sons. Like you got sons who came and you were here, and then now these people kind of branched off. They took from you. You were the basically the blueprint, and now there are similar festivals out there. So I can appreciate that's
Yes.
applaud worthy. I do have a question about the branching out or the continuation or the furthering of Odunde and how you've taken that to be more than just a street festival. Now, I will say this. I did some research and I don't want to misspeak, so I'll ask. But I didn't see any of this, like Odunde 365, the dancing and all that. I didn't see any of this prior to when your mother was running it. So I don't want to say that it was, it's new, but to me it's new because I didn't see it before. But now we have more mediums that we can view it, like social media and all these other things. So all these other platforms.
Yes.
So taking the festival, how did you come up with the plan to broaden, your mother's idea from not only a festival, but take it further than just, and I don't want to say just because that's disrespect, take it further than the festival.
Beyond the festival.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that I got tired of people saying, oh, that's just that festival. Like I would be places and people like, oh, that's just that festival. And I'm looking like, what? Like, you're never, ever going to disrespect my mother's legacy. Ever. I don't care who you are, man, woman, don't mean you can come and Google a million. It does not matter. I will come for you. You understand? So I realized that I wanted to create something. That's that mother instinct, right? That mother instinct, I will come for you, And so I created Odunde 365 in October of 2011.
Okay.
Because I wanted to create something that's beyond and for us to provide year-round programs. So everything will culminate on the second Sunday in June, but we have year-round branding, year-round cultural programs that can positively affect our community.
So Odunde 365, explain to the people exactly what it is that you get or that you're doing. Like, what's the vision? Who is it impacting? and where the future is. Like, what do you see in the future?
So we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Right?
That year, 2011, 2021, that makes sense.
10 years, right? And so I created Odunde 365. I went to my board member at the time, Raheem Islam, and I said I had this idea. I want to start African dance and drumming classes. And he said, well, okay, Boomy, you can start at my school. You started running my school under Universal Companies. And I started at one of his schools, and next thing you know, I was at all of the Universal schools, doing African dancing, African drumming. We were doing yoga, we do hip-hop dancing, we do videography, we do fashion design, we do yoga. We're doing a plethora of programs because I just want to, a lot of children in our community are not exposed to it. So when I create Odunde 365, I'm going to expose you to yoga so that you can see that and calm down and give you peace. And African dance and hip-hop and all. So it was just different programs that our community needed and that they weren't able to get, but we provided it for free. You know, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's a big part of it, because typically we can see these programs and they're offered across the city and even outside the city, like in some of the counties, but when are you able to see them for free?
Yes.
Like, that's almost never. So go ahead.
So that's when we brought the programs into community centers, recreation centers. Like, we've been throughout the city of Philadelphia providing our different programs. And so that's why I created Odunde 365, because I wanted my mother's legacy to be beyond the festival. Even though the festival can stand on its own, like, she don't have to create nothing else. Like, she can sit there and chill. You understand? But I want to create Odunde 365 because, like I said, I want to provide a year-round program and let people know that everything culminates on the second Sunday in June with the festival.
So everything kind of ramps up to that.
Yes, yes.
So, future, what's the future of Odunde and Odunde 365 and Boomy? What's the future for?
So under Odunde,
if you want to share it with us, I want to say.
My ultimate goal, I would love for Odunde to be on every continent. I would love for the festival to be on every continent. I would love for our program to be on every continent. You know, I always like to think of the big picture. That's how I was raised. You know what I mean? My mother always said most people's minds are no bigger than the block they grew up on. Right? So I'm very careful who I hang out with, who I'm
Pure
with.
facts.
Right? And so I like to think broad. I like to think macro. I like to think big. And so that's what I would love to do. I would love for my legacy, if one of my children decide to take on Odunde, that they're traveling around the world doing Odunde festivals or have Odunde programming. That's my ultimate goal. You know, that's what I really want to do. But you just never know how God works, how the universe works. But that's what I love doing Odunde.
But to have the plan means like that. To be able to have the plan means you can work the plan.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when you work the plan, then the plan can work.
It can.
So
you have to have, you know, I tell my kids who I do my program that a dream without a plan is just a wish. You understand? You have to have a plan. Like I tell my son, it's like, what happens if we're going from here to California and 95 is back up? So what do? You gotta have a plan. You gotta know you gotta go to an auxiliary road. You gotta be able to reroute and move around and get it. You understand? And so I just think that that's what my plan for Odunde is. I love Odunde. Odunde. I just love what I do. You love what you do. It's not work. You know what I mean? Is it hard? It's very hard. It's very hard.
I said the same thing. If you love what you do, it's not work. I've actually almost verbatim. Sometimes you can be working on, you can love something that seems like work. You can love it to death, but it's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. And it does. While I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying at times it can seem like work.
It is
because it's hard.
It is. I'm my own paycheck, so there are no sick days, there are no vacation days, there are none of that. You understand where I'm coming from? There has been no Odunde for the last 2 years.
I'm glad. So give me a second. Right. I was about to touch on that because that was my next time. I swear you were.
That's been it, right?
You just going. Anyway, so pandemic hit, right? And pandemic, what was it, 2019 when it hit? Was it
2019, right? Yes, 2 years. 2020.
2020, yeah. So it actually
March of 2020.
It hit hard in March, but it started in December of 2019, but it didn't hit hard in March of 2020. Yes. So what has the pandemic pivot for you? So that's mine. Pandemic pivot is mine. Don't try and use it. It's some not up for debate. BlastOffBe shit. Yes. Pandemic pivot is my shit. Let me tell you. Yes. So what has been your pandemic pivot plan since you aren't able, and maybe you are, or maybe you didn't consider it because last year we were hit off guard. Like, we didn't know it was going to be this big, the pandemic. So what was your pandemic pivot of 2020 for Odunde, for the second Sunday in June?
Yes,
and then what has been your, and and continuing. So what has been your pandemic pivot going forward? So let's start in 2020 and go from there. Like,
well, we kept on thinking like this thing is just going to, breeze over, we'll be fine for June, and then it came, and I met my board and I said, we have to be safe, right? Odunde doesn't get a pass, right? We don't have a festival, and they said, Odunde was a super spreader. You know what I mean? Odunde, we be done. Other festivals get passed. Oh no, it's okay, this happened and that happened. Odunde was a super spreader and killed all the people.
Or you can have presidential rallies and all. Anyway,
yeah, we're fine, right? You can do all that. You can do presidential rallies, you can go storm the White House, you can do all that.
All that.
But you ain't no super spreader. But okay, we'll get back to that. But I think that so the first one, see, the thing is that I always think on my feet. So I'm not the type of person, again, back to my mom, like I'm always thinking on my feet, like I know how to go. It's not like, oh my God, what are we going to do in a panic? No, I'm like, okay, we're going to go to a virtual one, right? So we did a lot of virtual events. So we did African cooking, African head wrapping. We did an African business roundtable, a Caribbean business roundtable, right? And so you just have to learn how to pivot. And most people in life, they don't know how to pivot. And so therefore, when they hit a brick wall, they collapse, they fall apart.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from? So you have to be able to, not saying that life is hard. Life is hard, you know what I mean? But you just have to know how to, that you're going to get back up. As my mother says, the sun will rise in the morning, right? And so I just think that this is what Odunde did. We pivoted in 2020, then we pivoted again in 2021. Again, we came back, they still having some COVID was still here, and I just like, again, I met with my board of directors and I said, they said we can't do it. Like, we don't want to take that chance. So hopefully, God willing, we'll be back in 2022. I mean, people have been calling me, texting me, everything. Like, we need Odunde.
I missed it.
And back in 2020, this year, people were calling me. Dignitaries were calling me. Politicians were calling me and saying, we have to do Odunde. We need that camaraderie. We need that to come back. But I cannot put my mother's legacy at stake. That's because you want people to get together. We're not going to do that, right? And if something was to happen, the only person to be at that podium is me. Right? And everybody else was like, I can't believe Boomy did that. Oh my God. But you're behind the camera, right? I'm in front of the camera, I'm at the podium, I have to explain to people why we did Odunde and why this happened. And so that's a leadership position, that comes with power, right? That comes with a leadership position, you know what I mean? To whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm very clear on that. So you have to be very, how can I say, you have to navigate it very well, because at the end of the day, it comes at me. Like, I have to be in front of this camera and I have to explain to people why I did what I did. And if I make a decision that I'm comfortable with, no matter who camera I'm in front of, I'm okay with that, because I said, this is a decision I made. I don't want to say, oh, so-and-so told me to do this, that's why I'm here. No, we're not going to do that, especially at 47. Like, it comes with responsibility.
Well, you know who you are.
Accountability.
Right.
Yes.
That accountability is a big thing.
Yes.
So I want to continue this conversation, but I do have one last, if I could, I would,
Yes.
but I do have one last question, and I wanted to really touch on some more of the business things, but we kind of ran away with everything because I'm super interested in Odunde. So
Yes.
let me ask you this: as a woman in business, a woman of color in business, which I believe is a major thing as well. What has been your feeling, or let me try and word this a different way. Have you noticed or recognized any brick walls, setbacks, hardships, anything like that would stop you from moving forward when you're meeting with some of these mayors and governors and other people of those type of positions, being not only a woman, but a woman of color? Because I think that's a very important thing that the viewers would want to listen to and hear what your perspective has been for someone who is so successful in your career. Even though it was set up by your mother, but you've taken it so far, so much further beyond. So someone who's that successful, what would you say?
I think that in my 20s, I was very going out, meeting with people. Oh my God, I got to do that, and they're gonna help us. You want to sponsor us, people? You know what I mean? Or they'd be like, oh, that's great. Call me one day at 6 o'clock. We're gonna meet and we're gonna do this, and we wouldn't do nothing. Now at this age, I don't give a flying fuck. I don't. I'm gonna meet with you. You gonna support me or not? Whatever. I tell you all the time. I'm meeting with a politician. I'm meeting with a corporate sponsor. Do not put me on the merry-go-round, because my hand to God, when that merry-go-round go one more time, I'm gonna try to take your head off. Don't do that. Just say, Boomy, I don't want to support you. Or Boomy, I can't help you this year. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the word no. I'm immune to the word no. The word no don't even bother me no more. I'm good with that because I know that God is directing my steps. I'm good with that. But what I ask of you is that just don't put me on a merry-go-round. Just don't be like, oh, can we call so-and-so, then call so-and-so, and this is going to happen. Because that's what I realized a lot, especially here like in Philadelphia and stuff like that. People will put you on a merry-go-round. I realize that if I'm with any of my board members, Mr. Kenny Gamble, Bob Brady, Stan Schroeder, when I'm with them, it's like, oh, yes, Odunde is great. Tell them to call me, and then we're going to do this, and this, and this. Then I call them, it's like, now call back. That's what we're not going to do. So what we want to do now, let's play ball then. So many times I've been with Mr. Kenny Gamble, anybody like, oh, this is great. Is it great? Because you told me to call you the last time I was with Mr. Kenny Gamble, and it didn't happen, so it's pretty low. And then they sit there with the dumb look, with the Kenny Gamble looking at me like, boom, boom. Oh my God, like boom, boom. Because we're not going to play these games. I'm 40-something years old. I'm not playing no games with you. We're not going to do that. If you're not going to help me, just say, I'm not going to help you. I'm okay with that. But do not, I repeat, do not put me in the merry-go-round. And that's what a lot of people do. You understand where I'm coming from? So one thing I told you, if you know who you are as a woman of color, people know who to play with, who not to play with. People know. They be like, since I'm not going to be like a woman, I already told you. They told me you're not the one. And not in a bad way, but in a way of, please, y'all, come on. Just don't, if you can't give me no money for my program, I say, boom, I get you no money for your program. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I can help you. I'm good with that. But don't say, oh, call me this day, call me that day. We're not going to do that. We're not. And I'm going to tell you to your face. That's the one, because that's how I was raised. When I was the boom, go straight to
Don't be afraid.
Don't be bullshit and be respectful.
Yep.
You lied last time, I'm good. I know you're saying it's going to be in front of Mr. Kenny Gamble, boom, we good. I know you're saying it's going to be in front of Bob Brady, so you act like you want to help, you're not going to help me Odunde. I'm not going to waste your time, I'm not going to waste their time. We're good. What's the next question? And they be sitting there like, oh my God, did she just say that? I did. Because I don't put you in the merry-go-round. If I say I'm going to help you,
it is what it is. I'm going to do it.
Like if I can't do it, Brian, can we do it this Saturday, or we do it this Sunday, or we can't do it this week, we'll do it that. But like, I'm going to tell you, but most people, Philly is very, very cliquish.
Yes, it is.
Philly's very cliquish. You understand where I'm coming from? People act like, oh, I'm going to help you. And then I've had a lot of people who have helped me who I don't know who you are. So I think thank you to you, because a lot of people, a lot of people say, oh, boom, I know white people don't like Odunde. Guess what? It's a lot of white people that be rocking with me. It's a lot of white people that say like, oh, boom, you got that program? I'm going to give you that money for that program. So don't equate because we African American, you rocking with me. That's another myth I need to dispel. People like, oh, I know people rocking with you, booming, because there's a lot of African Americans that try to stop Odunde. So yes, so don't equate because you African American, you rocking with me. That don't rock. That don't roll. You know what I mean? So
we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this conversation.
We're gonna have to, because
the thing is that get into that.
Because that's the truth. That's the truth. And there's evidence on that. So I'm clear on that. So I just like to say that I think that that's what's so key in regards to you have to know who you are if you're going to navigate in this world. If you want to be a business leader, you better know who you are. Because if not, people would eat you out and spit you out alive. So you have to know who you are and you have to be true to yourself. I'm true to myself. I'm not going to water down Odunde. You're not going to say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Nigga, not. Can we do this? No, you cannot. Did you ask the mamas, can they do that?
So the funny thing is,
all right,
like,
did you ask the Irish festival, can they do that? All right, then. So you can ask the Irish or the mamas.
Oh, you talking about
No,
I'm
not talking about just anybody in general.
No, I feel
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
Right? So don't tell me you want Odunde to do this, but the other festivals, you don't tell them to do that. So we're gonna rock however we gonna rock, and I'm just gonna be at the meeting like this. And it's two boomies. It's professional boomie and it's gangster boomie. Whichever one you wanna meet, it's chill. Gangster boomie is down in Miami chilling. Right. But she likes to catch red eye. And she shows up quickly. Trust me, she shows up and people be in meetings like, what just happened? I mean, my husband tell me all the time, boomie, you ready to go to this meeting? Please don't go here cussing. My girlfriend's calling me boomie, you get ready to go on the mic. Please do not get on the mic, start cussing. Immediately, like.
And you was afraid to cuss on it anyway.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
cool.
In high school, what was I? High school, tall, skinny, played basketball.
Yeah.
That was it. Just quiet, make people laugh. I stayed to myself, right, Aaron? That's what I did. I stayed to myself. That's what else booming was. You know what I mean? I stayed to myself. Someone was like, oh, boy, I remember you like, in high school, you was skinny and this, and so was you. So, and then all of a sudden, everybody get quiet. Man, the whole room was like, oh, they go booming. No, you came for it. I gave it to you. How you gonna do it?
Let me tell you, I appreciate you being here. First of all, you're hilarious. But you, like I said, you were always like 2 steps ahead of me. I was going to ask you to give them some advice, but you did when you were talking about the last time. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't even have to ask you to do that.
You gotta say, I realize in this world that we live in, you have to stay true to yourself, because if not, people will turn you into something that you're not. You know what I mean? But this whole social media world, people are so used to likes and what everything looks like. I mean, my son was like, my son was doing big things. I'm just like, no, they're not. There ain't nothing but me going to get a friend of mine, Mercedes-Benz, have my son tape it, and then I'm living my best life. Like, because social media, you can lie.
Yes,
You understand where it come from? People be like, oh, I love my husband, but sis, I just saw you with the side joint. Like, which way are we doing it here?
Oh my God.
Which way are we doing it here? Because I'm confused, because on social media, we're portraying this.
We're not supporting the side joint.
We're not supporting the side joint, but I'm just saying how social media allows people to live a life that they're not living. It allows them to lie. It allows them to, I mean, you be looking at people thinking they have no worries. They have no problems. And it's a whole different ballgame, and you really know them. You look at them like, you know what I mean? Like, Brian, you know, so you be looking at them like,
that ain't you.
That's not, bro, you live with your mom, that dirty shower curtain. Like, but you live with your mother though. Like, which way, like,
the dirty shower curtain got me.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. Be true to yourself, because most people are not. They are living this lie, like they're like living like they're living a whole life that doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. All I can say is just stay true to who you are. You know what I mean? Let your social media life and your real life match up. That's why I'm at with it. Let it match up. I don't want to see you on social media, you know, you're driving a Range Rover, but I just saw you Dunkin' Donuts in a Toyota Corolla. Like, which way is it, bro? Who car is you borrowing? So I think that Brian's gonna tell the truth. That's why you're laughing.
I'm gonna let look. But we have to continue this conversation. But that was a good place. Don't front for social media. I'm gonna say that first.
Because you know I'm the truth.
Yeah,
you know people who I'm telling is.
Well, no names here.
No, we're not gonna listen to no names.
So what I'm gonna say is your advice was be true to yourself. Make sure that your social media matches your real fucking life.
Yes.
Because if your social media don't match your real life, Boomy gonna call you out on that shit.
Yes.
I mean, I may be saying
I'm just looking. I like to observe. I don't like to look at people.
She just called people out. I'm telling you, she just did it. She ain't say no names, but you know who you are. Stop fronting for social media.
That's it.
You know who you are.
Yeah, I always say let everything match up. That's all I'm asking you. Let your social
Remember that
media
matching game you had?
Huh?
The matching game when we was kids, you turn one. Make sure your cards match when you turn them over.
Make sure everything match up, because so many people out here are living lies. I remember, and the reason why I say it, because my children are, that social media is all they know. And so I had to tell my son, like, listen, so many people are living lies. Like, don't believe that. And then my son started seeing it. He's like, well, Mom, why would people do that? Because social media got people thinking, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I remember him saying that my son was telling me one time this girl, she's homeless now. Like, I mom put her out. But she got 50,000 followers. Sis, how you got 50,000 followers and got a place to go express your head? But I'm saying, that's the imbalance.
So don't.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm just saying that.
I got you.
That's the imbalance. That's how people are so caught in.
Be true to yourself is where we're going. We're going to continue this. Whenever you have time, I know you're busy. And I'm gonna ask you to come back, and we're gonna dig deeper into the business aspect of Boomy. We're gonna do. I mean, of course, it rests on Odunde, but we're going to talk about the business aspect of Boomy, Oshunbumi Fernandez-West.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you this. I've known this young lady for well over 20 years at this point. And I've been able to recognize all of the things that you've been doing, continuing your mother's legacy, and broadening that to where it is now. And I expect greater things from you. Not that what you have done at this point isn't great, or wasn't great, or it still is. I expect more, because you told me that you expect more, right?
Yes, I do.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to offer. So let me ask you, one thing that I realized that I didn't get a chance to ask you yet is, where can they find you at? Like, where do they find you? Do they find Odunde? Like, how can they find you in the social media world, or just in general?
Yes, and so you can find me on Instagram at Odunde CEO, at Odunde Festival, and I am Boomy. So multiple ways to find me. Go to our website, odundefestival.org, ODUNDE festival.org, and you can find us there. But we have our website, Instagram. Just follow us. And we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. I will say this, the same as you can follow us everywhere. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, All of the streaming platforms that you would typically listen to or watch. You can go to YouTube. This is BlastOffBe. You can go to BlastOffBe.com. You can go to the Instagram, BlastOffBe, NUFD podcast. We're kind of on everything. So make sure that if you want to find us, you want to listen to us, you can just Google search NUFD podcast, Google search BlastOffBe, Google search MIG 7.2. You'll be able to find us on all streaming platforms and especially on all social media platforms. So we appreciate you being here. For me and for MIG 7.2, who is unfortunately not here today, I will say that we appreciate you being here. I know he had some things that he wanted to ask. So
okay, we'll do a part 2, right?
We'll do a part 2 so we can get the full effect of Not Up for Debate podcast. But last thing I want to say before we wrap up is be true. For Bumi, I'm going to say this. Be true to who you are. And that's not up for debate. This is BlastOffBe. This is Oshunbumi Fernandez-West. We out here.